Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and sometimes you just want to roll some bones. You want to pick up those dice and chuck them. And in this game, Emerald Skulls, players are going to take turns being the roller, and other players at the table. The base game goes up to 6 total players. With the expansion, you can play 7 to 8. So this could be a really nice big table game. Everybody else at the table that's playing with you is going to have these 2 betting tokens. And while you are essentially in the process of rolling dice, before you roll, you kind of hesitate and you look around and see, does anybody want to make any bets? And then you will roll the dice. So players are deciding in real time what they want to make bets on with their 2 betting tokens. And you, as the dice roller, are trying to make the best combination of dice results based on what you get. So that's the gist of the game. And there is a closed economy for the tokens that are the victory point condition. So when those have all been taken, that triggers the end of the game. So you're not sure exactly how many turns or rounds you're going to get because it depends on how well the players do and who takes that very last token, which are these guys. So let's take a look at the board. This is going to be the player board that's out in the center. And then every player is going to receive, again, 2 of these betting tokens. They're nice wooden tokens. I feel like they just have nice substantial feel to them. And they each have an icon on it. So I am that cobra, rattlesnake. I'm a snake because that's me. That's my player color, right? I am green. And there's these nice big chonky cards here. So this is going to tell you what you do, and every player gets one of these. So the very first thing is you're going to buy dice. As the tumbler, as the active player, you're going to buy dice. So decide how many dice you want to roll. Guess what? Right here, you're going to gain 3 for free. And at the very beginning of the game, players do not have any of these cogs, which are, again, the victory points in the game that you use to purchase more dice to hopefully gain even more points. So you have to invest in order to hit big. So if I have 3, which again at the beginning of the game, I'm not allowed to buy 4 for 1 more, or 5 total for 3 more, 6 total for 6, or 10 for 7, which is every single one of the dice out here. I then start shaking my dice and I kind of look around the table and ask essentially if any of my fellow players want to place bets. These are where you place bets, to the right and to the left where that red arrow goes of each of these 4 cards. So there are 8 places to go. We have the Mad Nargash, the Pick and Bust, Busted Fowl, Final Jewel, Grim Grin, Emerald Skull, Empty Hands, or Empty and Shiny. And these are anticipations of how well I'm going to do. Am I going to run out of dice? Am I going to have a double out, which is kind of like the best outcome? Am I going to double out with a full skull, meaning you have to have all 7 dice in play? So at the beginning of the game, going here, not the best bet. A Grim Grin, it says run out with only teeth. You'll see that there are layers to this. There are 5. So the first one is bottom teeth. You can put any number of dice here, and that's a value of 1. Second layer is top teeth. That's going to be any amount of dice here and value 2. Essentially on your pips, right? So this is a 4, that's a 4, that's a 1, that's a 2, 3, and then you've got your 5, and then you've got your skull, which is a wild. Here you got the nose. Any number of dice can go here, and it's the 3. You only have 2 spaces for eyes, 1 eye, 2 eye, and then up here is going to be the gem. That's kind of like this example of the gem out that you see, and that takes a 5. So they can bet. These are going to be 4 opportunities. This is going to be kind of the gist of it. Over here, you've got Pick and Bust. You bust out after at least 1 nose pick, which is going to be a 3. Mad Nargash is essentially a gem out with only wilds. You essentially have wild, wild, wild all the way down. Pretty tough. Busted Fowl means you bust out or chicken out, because before you roll the dice, you don't have to, you can chicken out because you don't think you're going to really succeed. You think you're going to bust. But busting out or chicken out is something that someone could bet on. And then Final Jewel is essentially a gem out, where essentially you place 1 up there in gem. So the payouts are going to be listed to this side, so whenever players are not the active tumbler, they can still earn these cogs, which is again the economy, the income, your actual money in the game, and again victory points. So players are going to maybe throw some out there, and then I'm just going to roll. And I got a 1, 1, and a 4, or 5. So what do I get to do as the tumbler? So here we go. I will already allowed my bets. I pick my dice, allow players to place bets. Then I'm going to roll my dice and advance to place step or take a reroll action. I don't have any reroll tokens. These cute gemmies right here are going to be rerolls. And rerolls are going to be available on this 3 level right there. You'll see that there's a picture of one of those cubes. Pick a nose and reroll. That's when you have a die on 3 and then you essentially take it back and you're going to re-roll it, but you have to start at 3 or higher. You can't go down below. Or you're going to spend a reroll cube, add it to the dice pool, and then re-roll everything. So not only do you get to re-roll your dice, you get to add a die that you didn't have to pay for at the beginning of the round. So if you place, which I'm going to do right now, I only have 3 dice, I don't have any rerolls, what do? I place a die on 1 level equal to or higher than any previously placed dice. So at this point, I can go anywhere I want, but at that point, I have to go at that level or higher. Wild dice can be placed at any level following the rule, and then you will simply say, I'm going to advance to payout if you are done, if you're out of dice, or if not, go to the allow bet step and then re-roll my previous dice. So this is where I get to essentially make my choice. I can place both of my 1s on the teeth for 2 reasons. It's the same die, you get to pick one number and essentially place that number into the board, but I also get to, because it says multiples, I can put as many teeth down here as I want. And in doing so, I leave this for the rest of the game. I essentially have to roll that again, but the chance of me busting is nil, because if I roll a 1, I simply add it to the same level, because you add dice to the same level or higher than your previously placed dice, which you're just continually going up and making it harder and harder to get dice. Or I'm going to get something that's higher, and then I'm going to place that into the space. So now my opponents, I'm going to go back into that reroll, where I start the next phase. I get to go back up to roll dice, and then I'll place. So they're all looking around going, probably not bust out or chicken out, maybe a gem out, not a gem out with only wilds, because I only have the 3 dice. Bust out after a nose pick, no. They're all mad dashing to maybe run out of dice. They're going to put their, and then, oh, look at this. If a player puts their token here, you are essentially going to go in pecking order. The first player to get there is going to go on the bottom because they get the highest payout, and then everybody else is going to go after them. So you always want to get that biggest payout. So the later you go, if you're slow to bet, then players are going to maybe miss out on that. So maybe they want to run out. But I think maybe the better bet is run out with only teeth. It's highly likely I'm going to roll a 1, a 2, or a wild. So maybe folks are wanting to go there. Let's say you have this. Now players do have 2 bids. I'm just throwing out a couple that people might want to put out. They think this is going to happen. These 3 are going to pay out, and then maybe there's I don't think I'm going to do a double. Well, maybe, we'll see. But this is it. I'm going to pick up this die. I let players have that betting phase, and now I'm going to roll my die. And I got a 3. So I'm going to put my 3 in my nose, and all the folks that said run out with only teeth, essentially bust. They get all of theirs back because I did not get just 1s and 2s. That would have essentially gotten them points. It also would have gotten me points too. I would get 3 cogs for each of my teeth that I have placed. And that's the way that I am going to pay out here with this. And to clarify, players can take the strip on a bet card in place of the normal payout if it's going to be more, because that payout's going to give the player a different kind of opportunity to score points. So you pick one or the other, the payout based on your outcome, or the little strip that you see kind of highlighted in those purple spaces on those betting cards. So these go back here, but I didn't have anything to re-roll with, And I did run out of dice, and I didn't chicken out or bust. So here's where you actually start looking at what the player gets is on the side. So I'm going to get 1 cog per die here. If I had any here, I'd get 2 because it's going to be this. I ran out of dice. So this is kind of the book notation for it. It's this. So bust out says the tumbler is unable to place dice. I essentially rolled a die lower than where I was. Chicken out says I stop rolling, and I didn't do that either. Gem out, I placed the die on the 5th level of the skull board, didn't do that. Run out is if I placed all my dice and I have no more dice in my dice pool. So that's what I did, because I didn't do the double out, which is running out and placing the die, my last die on the 5th level. So that's the symbol of what I look at, and it's going to be, again, this guy right here. So these are going to be the scores of the points you get based on what your outcome was up here. This is just full bust. If you bust, you get nothing. You get nothing. So I'm going to receive 2 cogs, 1 for each of those, and then I receive a reroll cube, and then I will put the dice back into the pool. These players are going to receive their 1 and their 2, essentially for calling that I run out. And they will put theirs back into their play area, and then we'll pass the dice to the next player who's going to become the active tumbler. So this is it. You're going to just slowly start building up these cogs, these bidding points, investing in dice, and then rolling when you're the active player. Here's where it says all those things I said from the rules, right? Bust out, chicken out, gem out, run out, double out. And that's going to be your out reference card. And again, you've got everything here done. I love it. It's super easy. It's really fast. There is this kind of live play feel of the tumbler, waiting just a little bit for everyone to make bets and for players to kind of start, like shoving out their bets. Again, they have 2 of. You can place one blind before the dice roll. You can place after if they get a chance to roll again. And then you just keep going through with the dice, rolling them, getting re-rolls if you want to, if you pay one of those green cubes back. So there might be several phases of betting as opportunities for players. So maybe wait, but also if you wait too long, you may not get the bet out that you want in the kind of highest position for those particular cards. And yes, there are advanced cards. So this game offers a lot of plays with a variety of bets and ways to essentially get paid for your investment. There's some dice rolling, which is luck. The betting is really fun. You are always playing this game, and I think that makes it really fun. You're the tumbler, you're having a great time because you're trying to figure out, how do I do the best with my dice? And then players are out there trying to anticipate that and then bet on it. And so you're always thinking, you're always playing, and you're possibly always gaining victory points, aka betting points. So you just always feel like you're a part of it. So once you've played this basic game with these cards as the setup, definitely give the advanced betting cards a try, and you will have a blast playing Emerald Skulls. This is about a 30-minute game, and again, it goes to 6 with this core box game, and there's an opportunity to get the 7 to 8 player expansion, which gets even bigger, and probably, as you would guess, even more chaotic, which could be a ton of fun for a big kind of party game night. So enjoy Emerald Skulls and roll them bones. I'll see you next time. Bye, folks.